All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins, but maybe not about this year. Let's go back a couple of years and talk about a young Tua Tagovailoa coming into the NFL, struggling a little bit, people questioning him. Brian Flores, you hear about the strife between the two. And now an interesting piece has come out talking about Tua's thoughts about his time under Flores and his time under Mike McDaniel and just how different those things are, how he has come to be the quarterback he is today, which is quite frankly probably the front runner for the MVP in the NFL right now. He's looking really, really good. So I think this is a really great story for Dolphins fans. So let's dive right into it. I'll read the excerpt and we'll talk about it on the other side. Nick, this is from over on Pro Football Network. Says on Wednesday, Tagovailoa was asked about his leadership style and if it has evolved since the Dolphins made him the number 5 pick in 2020 draft. Tagovailoa's answer wasn't particularly subtle. In short, he said that Flores wanted him to be somebody that he wasn't, while the current Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel encouraged Tua to be his true self. He says, I definitely have become more vocal, and I think when I came into the league during COVID, it was a little hard for me to find myself leading the way I wanted to lead because of the hierarchy with how I was told I should have led. It just wasn't the way I felt comfortable with, and so I didn't lead in that sense. I continued to lead the way I felt was necessary and being true to the true character of myself. And so, having Mike and my new coaching staff come in definitely helped allow me become more myself. And with that, me being able to be myself, that's just how I became more vocal, feeling comfortable talking to guys in certain ways, and also how you approach guys in the league. Some people respond better when you yell at them. Some people respond better if you pull them to the side and have a man-to-man conversation. And there were just different ways to go about that. And I would say that this is my type of leadership, Nick. So it seems like the Flores leadership was more of the yelling, the domineering style coming in, just imposing their will on all assistants, players, whatever the case may be. Where I think Tua is leading to, McDaniel is the more man-to-man guy, take you in the office, talk to you, empower you, gas you up, just let you be the guy that you want to be. And I think that's all Tua needed, was someone to come in and say, hey, you're a good leader the way you are. We're going to let you lead the way that you want to lead. We're going to support you. And look where they are. They look very, very good. This is a great Dolphins team. Very exciting to watch, especially on the offensive side of the ball with Tua. But Nick, I think this is really interesting. I want to hear what you think about all of this. But before we get into that, Dolphins fans, you got a big game coming up Sunday, 1 o'clock versus the Giants. I want to know, what are your predictions for the score in the comments below? Do the Dolphins get a big comeback win this week? Take it out on the Giants, who quite frankly haven't been doing all too well. Let us know in the comments below, what are your predictions for the Dolphins-Giants game. But Nick, what do you think about Tua's comments on McDaniel and Flores?
Well, I think it's an indication of how great a hire, first of all, Mike McDaniel was, and the job McDaniel is doing in terms of managing personalities. And look, it's kind of hard for us, or easy for us, excuse me, to fall into the trap where it's almost like these players, it's like a video game, right? Where it's just a collection of ratings and talents, and you throw the football out, and just the better, more physically gifted, the smarter players will win. But the reality is, these are human beings. These are human beings that react to certain emotions and situations. And sometimes guys will play better under certain coaches and play worse under other coaches. And there's just a common theme here that we've seen throughout the Miami Dolphins, especially with Mike McDaniel going back to last year, and it certainly is continuing into this year, is that this team, and of course Tua, responds to Mike McDaniel. And there's a lot of reasons for that. McDaniel is 100% authentic. He doesn't put on a fake persona. I guarantee you, and I've had some coaches coach me at the college level, where they come in, they try and be hardcore disciplinarians, they try and be domineering, like you said, and it just comes across as fake. It comes across as forced. It's like, okay, you're trying to be a pretend tough guy. Stop. You're being annoying. That's, just shut up and do something else. I can tell you're being fake. Or if they're not being fake, a lot of times it's like, all right, you're just a jerk. What do you know? Just shut up. And I think that's what Tua was getting. One of those two things, or maybe a combination of both under Flores. And look, any guy's going to struggle in that situation because, to be honest, playing quarterback in the NFL is incredibly difficult, right? we talk about how good Tua looks these past couple of years. People forget he looked really bad there coming right out of the gate. And I think a lot of it was because he was uncomfortable, because the presence of Flores wasn't giving him the opportunities to feel comfortable in the team environment. Again, it's one thing to feel comfortable throwing the football. It's another thing to feel uncomfortable actually going out there at practice, in the weight room, getting ready for the games, game planning, meeting room, all that kind of stuff. It really matters. Having your quarterback, and frankly, any player on the team, be comfortable and exciting and empowered throughout every facets throughout the week. That really does matter, because issues during the week, they propagate into the game. And you're seeing it already. Joe Shatter, a reporter from the Palm Beach Post, came out recently and talked about Tua being more vocal immediately following the Buffalo Bills loss, saying, hey, people need to wake up. It's time for people to recognize they're not just going to blow the brakes off of everybody, right? This is an example of the empowerment we're seeing from Mike McDaniel. And again, it shows a smart move by McDaniel and the entire Dolphins organization to treat Tua and every other player the way they need to be treated to allow them to reach their maximum potential, both on the field in terms of talent and the play calling and the structure. That, of course, is important, but also off the field, allowing them to become their best selves in terms of their leadership and their role on the football team.
Yeah, Nick. And I think this is great. And I think this shows that McDaniel truly is a really good leader, because I think we have perfect examples from our time in school and college. We saw a lot of young leaders coming through a military college program, and a lot of people given leadership roles early on. I feel like the people who try to lead through fear or domineering personalities like Flores did are just people who don't have great leadership qualities, and that's the only option they have. You see a guy like Mike McDaniel come in, he's truly a great leader. He understands how to lead men, he understands people, and I think that's what we've been talking about this whole time. I think that is why they are so successful. But I just think Flores, his leadership style is when you don't exactly know what you're doing. Flores might be a great defensive mind, a great assistant coach, but he doesn't seem like a great fit for a head coach, and I think it showed itself when he came to Miami.
And it's one of those things, it's not just the fact that everybody seems to like him. It's the fact that it works, right? The Dolphins are really, really good. That debacle against Buffalo aside. And Tua is playing once again like an MVP. He leads all passers, all quarterbacks, Mahomes, Josh Allen, you go down the list in PFF rating by a wide margin through this point in the season. This guy is the odds-on favorite to win the MVP, according to Steve Palazzo over at PFF, who does a lot of these analytics. And I agree 100%. I think Tua, barring an injury, is going to be an MVP. And a lot of credit goes to Tua and his athletic gifts and his intelligence and how he's grown as a player. But a lot of credit has to go with Mike McDaniel for how intelligently he's handling Tua in terms of the offensive scheme, but just as importantly, giving him the tools to be successful in terms of his personality and the context of the entire football team.